For the most well-known rally raid event in motorsport, there really haven't been that many console or PC games based on the Dakar Rally over the last 40-odd years. There appear to be just 5, actually, and one of those is an 8-bit 1988 fever dream where your car has guns and you get from France to Africa by driving under the sea, avoiding giant starfish, lobsters, and many torpedoes. Perhaps adapting the Dakar into a game is as difficult as winning the thing in real life. This would certainly explain Dakar Desert Rally, where I've been zigzagging between enjoying its genuinely immersive moments of brilliance and cursing its bugs, uneven performance, odd design choices, and often unresponsive handling, which have effectively counteracted just about everything it does well. There's no denying Dakar Desert Rally is a massively ambitious and ambitiously massive off-roader, and there are definitely glimpses of the gusto with which the developer, Saber Porto, has approached distilling this grueling event into a digestible and, in many ways, unique racing game. Most impressive is the environment itself. The vast swaths of open desert are a particular highlight, even though they may sound barren and uninteresting. Emerging from twisting valleys or clumps of palm trees into these undulating oceans of sand makes for a racer with a rare sense of scale. Even in its heftiest racing trucks, Dakar Desert Rally made me feel puny ascending its mountainous dunes, especially with its neat helicopter camera. And it's in moments like these that Dakar Desert Rally is at its strongest. The time of day effects are lovely, and the dazzling wild weather effects are striking too. They don't really seem to add an overt layer of danger to the racing other than a slight decrease in visibility, but they are wonderfully atmospheric. This environment reportedly weighs in at a whopping 20,000 square kilometers, what Saber Porto has described as the biggest racing game open world ever, but unfortunately there's no way to get a sense of the full scope of it at launch. Disappointingly, free roam driving and custom events are slated to arrive as updates later this year. The updates will be free, but combined with the fact Saber Porto has also relegated race team customization and even replays to later updates, it all contributes to a feeling this thing just isn't quite finished. Some games are released in early access, and some are just released too early. It's a problem. For instance, that on Xbox Series X Dakar Desert Rally's resolution mode actually looks smoother than its performance mode. In resolution mode, the frame rate is pegged at a steady 30 frames per second, and that consistency keeps it looking suitably smooth. Performance mode, which apparently sacrifices pixels for frames, looks considerably worse to my naked eye. It may indeed hit 60 frames per second when conditions are right, but it's certainly not locked there, and it flutters around noticeably when the screen is packed with sand-slinging competitors. The resulting unevenness is quite dreadful at times. I actually even thought the modes might have been mislabeled at first, but no, resolution mode is easily the pick. Equally frustrating is the handling model. Dakar Desert Rally includes a formidable assortment of rally raid machinery representing all the competing vehicle classes, and there's a very good damage model here. Unfortunately, there's also a vast gulf between what's fun to pilot and what absolutely isn't. Quads are awful to ride, hopelessly sensitive to directional changes. Bikes are a little better, they don't feel quite as delicate, but they're still prone to regular losses of control. Handling for the cars and side-by-sides is a little more tameable than the bikes, but only mildly. The trucks, however, feel great. Despite being the biggest and burliest vehicles available, they are far and away the most fun to drive. They're planted and stable despite their height. They feel confident and predictable landing from jumps. They can absorb impacts from opponents without spinning out, and they actually respond to counter-steering. It should be noted these rolling starts against rivals only occur in Dakar Desert Rally's arcade-inspired sport mode, which features giant, glowing waypoints and racing against packs of opponents from the get-go. It isn't really representative of the real Dakar format, but if you can tolerate the surprisingly aggressive AI, it's a better entry point for those who might be intimidated by the orienteering aspects of the higher difficulty levels. Professional mode, for instance, requires us to interpret directions explained in a roadbook and reach invisible waypoints. Verdict: to its credit, Dakar Desert Rally has a fabulous sense of scale and is capable of some great, unique racing, especially when bombing over barren, building-sized sand dunes in a big rig while kicking up huge rooster tails of sand in search of a mysterious navigation marker. It is, however, dramatically undercut by unstable and annoying handling for several of its vehicle classes, its uneven performance mode frame rate, and some significant bugs that can cost you hours of progress. This game needed more time in the service area before being cleared to compete.